All right, friends. So first question to everybody. Are we going to go over the PMBOK 7th edition completely or 6th edition completely?
6th edition, I believe.
You have a reason to believe. Right, friends? Because the PMBOK test is around 6th edition. We will also cover the 7th edition, but one session we will devote to understand where we are in the modern project management world. Right. However, if you want to repeat your PMP after a few years, then like Karan, you can come back and then do the 7th edition. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, friends, I have a lot of degrees to impress you. My doctorate, my certification. Actually, I forgot to list some of them. So friends, this is all the copyright of PMBOK guide. I am just a trainer and helping impart that knowledge. So this is an artifact of the PMI. Does it make sense? I mean, it's the outcome of the PMI's work on project management. This has gone through changes several times, 2015, 18, 2021. And now the PMBOK 7th edition is out recently. So what is that we are going to cover in this whole 35 hours, right? Apart from Agile and the 7th edition. The 6th edition is what you see here and on one page. This is the whole book. Take a moment and just think about this, and then we'll talk. So friends, this is the copyright of Dr. Sam because I like pictures, visual, right? So what I think is that the discipline of project management has a crown, right? And then a triangle, and then 5 pillars. What is a crown? Crown is the basics, right? What is it all about? Well, what is project management? What is project manager? What he or she does? What are projects, right? That is the first piece. The second piece is that, hey, every project has a life cycle from start to end. And a project manager is involved from the start till the end to deliver the project successfully, right? How? Well, the skills that we just discussed, right? You need to have people skills, process skills, skills to facilitate the right environment, and the role of a project manager. So that's the crown piece. But then, all right, I understood you're setting this base to talk more about it, that who is he or she and what do they do and how they do it. Great. But what exactly do they do? Well, they manage the triangle of the project. What is the triangle? We also call it sometimes the golden triangle, the triple constraints. What are those?
Scope, schedule, and cost.
Awesome, right? Here is what we are doing called requirements, which are a part of the scope. This is the scope and this is out of scope. No. We are not doing this by say. That is excluded from the current scope. These are the requirements we collected from stakeholders, and the team will work on, and I'll help facilitate and deliver it as a project. But I have to do it in 35 hours, right? PMP certification. That's the timeline. Getting it done in the time, right? Timelines, as in the last 5-10 years, you've seen the discipline of project management really evolved, right? 10 years ago, there was not much talk, but today, even universities have a degree in project management. Why?
To equip students with the project management techniques. I believe every organization has projects. So maybe to equip them early on.
Awesome, very good. And also think about it that in the last 5-10 years, so much of new technology has come in, and there's so much of pressure to deliver on time, right? The world has become flat. Now there are more innovations happening in China and India, right, than just in the US. 10, 20 years ago, it was all US, US, US. So there was not so much of pressure to deliver new products on time, right? So now there's a very increased focus of getting things done with the given set of requirements in the time and in the given budget, right? Cost. So the triangle is the scope, time, cost. Every time you do as a project, think through the triangle. What am I doing? What am I doing? How much time I have, how much money I'm spending, and managing all three. But in doing that, are you really able to build a high quality product and process? Do you think that's important?
Didn't quite get that question, Dr. Sam.
The
So
point is that, hey, you can deliver all the requirements in the given time and the given budget, but you might compromise on the quality piece.
right.
So it is important that we deliver the quality. And when we say quality, are we talking about the quality of the product or quality of the work done or quality of the process followed?
It's product mainly.
Product, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, kind of both product as well as the process, right? In order to get a good product, you need to follow a good process, right? Because at the end of the day, imagine Tesla car. The car that I drive is a high quality car. How will I know that? Because it has followed a stringent test of 10 different steps to achieve that goal. And if you go to a Tesla factory in Fremont, what I saw that they have so many processes they follow from end to end to achieve the final car.
But as a client, I think I would be more interested in the quality of the product rather than the processes, because quality of the processes would be something which is very internal to the organization. What quality processes we are going to follow in our organization, that is very internal, I believe.
True, very true, very true. And that's a good point. And like Karan said in his discussion, hey, Karan, what do you work on? I work on client-facing products, and I work on projects which are internal, where we are building a legacy system for a company using SAP or Oracle or ERP or Workday to streamline our operations or different pieces of the business. Right? In other words, the projects could be internal or external, right? You could be doing an internal project as a project manager or external project with a client.
Yeah.
Right. So it depends. But from a discipline perspective, we'll talk about both, right? Because from a project management discipline, we could be engaged in either or both. And what else? So as a project manager, what is our job? Our job is to integrate everything, right? Put everything together. That's the main job. That's why you see number one, integration. And then what do you do? So as a project manager, you are making sure everything is happening right. You are aware of the basic ground rules of what a project manager should do across the life cycle of a project and what positive and role he should play, and then deliver, collect the requirements from the stakeholders, have the team work on it. We'll talk about a team a little later, but first we'll talk about what is our timeline, what is the budget we have, and then making sure it is delivered with the right quality. Now, the question is, who will do it?
With the right resources.
The right resources, right? Team and other resources, hardware, software, men, machine, everything, right? So that is the piece here. But when you bring in the team, what happens? There's a lot of challenges, right? What are those challenges?
How do we facilitate the work, communication, and how, a facilitation between the different teams, I would say.
Awesome. So communication between different team members, because now that the team is here, what are they supposed to do? What are the expectations? What are the stakeholders expecting from us? And how do we deliver that? Right? And then the team starts the work. And do we face any problems? Are there, when they do the work, are there a lot of unknowns that crop up in real life?
All the time.
All the time. What do we call them?
Risks.
Risks, right? risk components or risk items that can throw a project in jeopardy, right? For example, can somebody give a latest example of what the experience?
COVID, I think. Risk management. Most of the companies underwent a risk assessment.
Yeah, it seems like the external environment impacted the projects. An external environment was the COVID, occurrence of COVID. And the impact of that was that the environments changed. A lot of business moved from in-person to digital. And a lot of companies had to move their business models from in-person delivery to digital. And in the process, hence go through a digital transformation of automating their manual tasks and processes, right? So doing projects around that.
Yeah, a lot of businesses had to go from in-person to virtual also, and then come up with tools and technologies to support virtual or online versus in-person.
Yeah, I mean, I was so popular as a trainer. I loved standing there and talking, and there are 30 people sitting around me.
Yeah.
When I would walk and talk, I would feel like a king,
Yeah.
And that was my prowess. And suddenly one day it became zero.
Yeah.
And I didn't enjoy the online training. I said, what is this online?
Yeah.
But then that only shows that I was not adaptable enough to the changes in the marketplace.
Yeah.
Which is not a good sign, right? Adaptability, the change is the only constant, and the team and project manager, everybody has to adapt to that, because we don't know what tomorrow will bring. But the ability and the skill to accept that and adapt to it is very, very important in project management, because project management is about delivering new product and services, right? So the future will always be unknown. Do you guys agree?
Yeah.
So that's the idea. And in doing so, we'll experience challenges. So we have to be always aware of them and have a risk mitigation strategy and risk response to fight that. That's what we will talk about in this book, PMBOK 6th edition. Also dealing with suppliers, right? Because you cannot deliver a project just by yourself. You need a set of vendors to deliver or build your product or service, and then engaging with them, because your success in making a Tesla car, a new design of Tesla car, will depend on the tire manufacturer, steel manufacturer, glass manufacturer, right? Stereo manufacturer, computer manufacturer. Right? My Tesla car is like 70–80% digital. And you can open the bonnet and sit in the front. When I was growing up as a kid, I had such a tough time. I had to always wipe my sweat, and my dad had an ambassador car, and then we had a Fiat car, and half the time it will stop, and I would open the bonnet and see the engine. Where is the fuel not coming? I think that is all over now. So the latest technology. So dealing with all these suppliers, it's a very challenging area, and a project manager has to be involved in that exercise. And we discussed in the earlier session, as early as possible, probably even in the contract negotiation. And what about stakeholders, friends? Do you think stakeholders are important?
Absolutely.
How important?
Very important.
Because they provide the
Bread and butter.
Yeah.
bread and butter, the money, the resources, right? The direction, the requirements, not only in the beginning, but throughout the project, right? Often in real life, the project manager wants to stay away from the stakeholders because they will come and complicate the issue, right? So they initially just get the requirements and try to bring them at the end. But the problem is that in the UAT, or user acceptance testing phase, often stakeholders, did I tell you this? No, I don't think this is what we wanted. Does it happen?
Yeah.
A little bit, a lot?
Yeah, a little bit. We make sure that we don't end up in that kind of a situation.
Very good. So as a good project manager, we want to make sure that we don't end up in that situation. That is why we talk about stakeholder engagement, right? And engagement with the stakeholder throughout the process of the project. Very high engagement in the beginning, but continuous engagement throughout the project. And very high engagement at the end, because this guy can throw your entire project. Oh, that project failed. Oh, who's the project manager? Oh, what did he do wrong? Right? And then labeling is a big problem in companies, because suddenly Yesterday was the beautiful day, but today is not that exciting because suddenly things happen. Is that right?
Yeah.
So friend, that's the whole course of the PMBOK guide. Makes sense? That 700 pages is this one screen. And in all, there are like 10 topics. Can somebody summarize in their own words for everybody's benefit that what are we going to learn in next 6-7 sessions apart from Agile and the 7th edition?
What's the scope of the project? How to put a schedule in place? Within the cost, everything should be your scope and your schedule. Quality should not be compromised. It should be well integrated. Risks should be taken into consideration and prepared for. There should be constant communication throughout the project from the beginning till it's delivered. After delivery, stakeholders should be informed about how the project was delivered, and you should have resources for getting the project delivered.
Awesome. Very good. Very good.
Mm.
Also, how about suppliers?
Yeah, I missed that part.
Yeah, right, dealing with suppliers because you are building this new server, right? So, and the server comes from different
Vendors.
vendors. So CPU is from one guy, and I don't even know all the parts. You tell us.
Storage, networking,
Mm.
compute.
All I know is motherboard.
How you procure your hardware or your software to get your project.
In the integrated circuits, ICs, right? Somebody told me that, oh, Silicon Valley is not about IC integrated circuits. It is about Indians and Chinese. Yeah, professor at Berkeley.